Dumelang molweni. Kuyakuthiwa kwaze kwaqhuma kuyasha ne? Kwaze kwaqhuma kuyasha. Where there's smoke, there's a fire. Imagine my shock this morning when I see a post by the current Minister of Arts and Culture saying, let them march. But firstly, they must tell us what they did with all these monies that they've been receiving for the past however many years. Now, here's the thing. About a week or so ago, I remember there was a thing about there's going to be an artist march about this MGE issue. Now, that march was about the call that was changed and how things have been done differently to what was agreed when we had that meeting with the minister last year. Now, when I see this post, the minister is fighting with CCIFSA for huge amounts of money that CCIFSA has been receiving over the years. Now, this is the same CCIFSA that couldn't tell us what they do for artists. This is the same CCIFSA. At some point we were saying sicela their records to be opened, and somebody even suggested applying for PIA so that they can open their records so that we understand what they do for artists. Now, these are the same people that are now fighting with the minister. Him and what levels of confusion are these now? What are these people doing? Why are they doing it? What's going on? So, the reason I'm coming out today is I don't care at this point what the issue between DSAC and CCIFSA is. I do care, however, that 90% of artists are struggling because of lack of accountability and agencies that have not done what they promised to do. The exposure of corruption in our space is extreme. And I thank God for it, because that's what we prayed for. We said, Lord, expose it so that we can deal with it decisively. Now, you have a situation where artists are saying we want to march because we are not agreeing to the minister's decision to change the terms of engagement when it comes to the MGE. And then the minister, after having decided that yes, CCIFSA, there will be a forensic investigation into the money that they've been receiving over the years. Now, this march by the artists have nothing to do with CCIFSA. I don't care if CCIFSA or members of CCIFSA are part of the march. Bottom line is, this march is about the decision to change the rules of engagement around the MGE. Now, I agree with the minister that there should be an investigation around what CCIFSA has been doing for however many years and what they've done with the money. What I disagree with the minister on is taking away the rights of artists to march. Because when you gaslight people who are saying we are marching because we need answers concerning the MGE, and then you conflate that with the issue of an investigation into CCIFSA, you are essentially saying, I'm going to shut you down before you even open your mouth because I don't want to hear it. I'm going to gaslight you by telling you that you owe me loyalty. No, that's not true. 90% of the artists in this country do not owe the department any loyalty because they did not benefit from anything. The people who have been benefiting have been the same people over and over. Yes, some of them do employ, but a lot of them don't. So let's not then conflate issues and say artists who want to march about the MGE issue are now being lumped together with the forensic investigation into CCIFSA. Maybe the numbers of the people on the poster for the march are the CCIFSA people. That would have been a bad call on their part because they should have known that you cannot march against the people who fund you because you owe them an allegiance. And that is why they would come out and say, when you march towards the department and against the department, then you need to explain what you've done with the money the department has given you. That makes sense. But now, the truth of the matter is that if the people who are organizing this march made a bad call to put the numbers of the CCIFSA people on their posters, don't punish the artists and don't take away their democratic right to march. They have every right to march and they have every right to demand better communication from the department. And as far as I understand, the NPCs that have now been excluded from this call, MGE, are not necessarily CCIFSA members. They're just NPCs. And I actually know a couple of people who have NPCs who are not even members of CCIFSA. So punishing artists because there's a match coming up and saying now it's a fight between the department and CCIFSA, and yet it's artists who are marching about the MGE. It's a specific march. So I don't know what is happening and how we got to this point, but clearly the chickens are coming home to roost. And here's my advice to both sides. Minister, this is not the time to be emotional about this. You have called for an investigation, a forensic investigation into the affairs of CCIFSA. Stick to your plan. Deal with CCIFSA. You are correct in doing that. We all are waiting eagerly for the result of that forensic investigation. However, if artists have an issue with this entire MGE process, allow them to vent, allow them to talk to you, and be fair enough to give them an ear. When they bring their grievances to you, listen to them and be that guy who is honest enough to say, maybe this one was not the best call I ever made. Yes, your heart is in the right place, but maybe this is not the best approach. But don't shut them down by saying CCIFSA must bring a report. This march is not about CCIFSA. This march is about the MGE. Allow. And yes, it's an uncomfortable thing to have artists marching against you. You didn't think you would see it so soon after being appointed in that position, especially because you are very popular and people love you. And yes, we do like having someone so vibrant in that position, but don't fight back just because people want to march. The reason they feel that they can march is because they have been through a lot for too long. So allow. And unlike your predecessors, please listen. Hear. Don't just listen and not hear. Hear, understand, assimilate, and make a plan to make the necessary changes. And like I told you when you first came into this office, stop listening to those officials in your office. They are not doing you any favors. If anything, the very same CCIFSA you want to fight with now, those officials are the ones who have been helping CCIFSA. Ask Dr. Khumalo about how she has been helping CCIFSA for so many years and how she has been their #1 advocate. Before you fight with CCIFSA, ask Dr. Khumalo how she has been assisting them. And while we're at it, Ask the Ministerial Advisory Committee that was there when you got there how CCIFSA has been protected for so long. So don't fight artists for asking for their right. Just assist the process. If you're serious, Minister Gayton Mckenzie, about change, then be that guy who has integrity to say it has fallen spectacularly apart and it's time to pick it up and make right. But don't be that guy who says, CCIFSA must bring you records. No, CCIFSA will give records to the forensic investigators as you have instructed, but then artists are marching against you because you changed your mind about the MGE and you allowed your officials to play dice with the lives of artists when it comes to this MGE. So please, before we even get excited about, yeah, Minister wants a report from CCIFSA, no, let's stop report, yes, CCIFSA. Let's talk about the MGE, which is the real reason why artists want to march, because they feel like they are not being taken seriously. They also feel like they are being treated unfairly. So nobody wants to be treated unfairly, especially when it comes to issues of just basic survival. And it is their right to ask for a better way, a better treatment, and a better way of engaging. Artists have been crying the same cry and nobody's listening. And then when they say they're marching, the first thing that is thrown in their face is CCIFSA. No, come on, no can do. This cannot be how we engage. There's got to be a better way. And if you need assistance again, I'm saying we are here. We are ready to help. We are not going to take anybody's jobs. None of us, I, at least not the people that I'm surrounded by, are interested in the offices, in the jobs that are sitting there by government, because it's not going to serve us anyhow, because we don't want those positions. What we are looking for is change, tangible change that is going to make it possible for people to function, people to be able to attend the festivals they've been invited to, people should be empowered to run the spaces that they've created for themselves, because the spaces that are actually funded by government are not open to them. So don't fight them because they want to come and march and give you their grievances. And you guys don't respond to emails. So if you don't respond to emails, then people will come to your offices to come and deliver their grievances, because it's the only way. Apparently, you no longer respond to online. So people will come physically. And Kerala say people must come and deliver their... You said people must come and deliver their applications in person. So now people are saying we will not then, by the same token, not in person. So allow people to come and deliver their grievances in person. This is what you asked for. This is what you're getting. But don't then conflate issues and turn it around and say, if CCIFSA must bring records. There are also other people who also must bring their records. You know that there are lots of people who have not once submitted their reports, but they've been receiving funding for years. Don't use this low-hanging fruit of the one that has already been decided on. Yes, you've already decided to do a forensic investigation into CCIFSA. So sort it out. Hi, Hannes. Sort it out with CCIFSA, but don't make it a thing. You know, so there are a lot of people who have been receiving money, lots of monies. I mean, there are people who have been, some received 14 million here, 20 million there, and they come back, they get more. They keep receiving these monies. You can talk about the 5 million that gets given to CCIFSA a year out of a budget of 3 billion. come on. There's a hell of a lot of money that is not accounted for. But we are not talking about that. Right now, the issue is just the issue of the change of terms of engagement when it comes to the MGE. So attend to that and address that and listen to the grievances of the people and sort that one out. But don't make people fight you on a serious note, because I don't think people want to fight you, Mr. Mckenzie, because the truth of the matter is that a lot of people like you. They think you're that guy. They like your street smarts. So allow them to deal with you the way that they think they understand you. Because if the officials are going to gatekeep and block how they can communicate with you, then they're going to use the way that you said they should use, which is to come physically, to come and talk to you. So allow it. And no, it's not about CCIFSA. This one is definitely not about CCIFSA. I'm not saying people should come and do or what. It's not my decision to make. They've already decided. So they're coming. So when I be ready to receive and be ready to have a meeting with your officials and to sit down and come up with a plan. Instead of telling people to come with a report on what has nothing to do with them, you should be thinking of what is the plan moving forward. I love that you said in your post that you will share your plan about how you're going to do funding from now on. So rather focus on that. Forget about CCIFSA. CCIFSA you will deal with the forensics and all of that. But artists and their grievances concerning the MGE, that you should plan for. And you should be ready to receive. And if they're going to the union buildings, then let them go to the union buildings. And to the organizers of the march, please communicate better. How are you planning to get people to the union buildings? How are they moving from province to province, from the different provinces to Pretoria? And how are they getting their transport? Communicate properly. Don't communicate like people who are not sure what they're doing. If you want to be taken seriously, do your business seriously. All right? Shapu, all the best to everybody, but treat each other better. This nonsense of you block this, you da-da-ba-da-da-da. No. Don't block. Allow yourselves to engage. And if need be, then let people come and deliver their grievances and be ready to address them. It's the right thing to do. It's a democratic right. It's enshrined in the Constitution of South Africa. The right to protest is part of the South African mandate. So don't change the Constitution because it's uncomfortable and the march is against you this time. Allow people to march against you as much as they loved you and they celebrated you. Now allow them to march and say, Minister, you are not listening to us. Because if you hear them and you get it right this time, essentially, this might just be your ticket to the presidency that you want. Shapo.
Of an artist, bad shot spices are glorifying drugs as a stage fright cure. You can try this just when you're about to grab your chance of staging. Excitement, you can't think out this industry, or should I say this killer dream, cause you will swear that from the start it was designed to kill artists. Bangakulwela when days are bright, as a human being on Instagram, too much pressure, unrealistic expectations. Whoever said that he's the perfect is with us, Singiza remedies within us as